Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now I'm at the airport in Houston, United States, and I'm about to go on a new trip. This time I headed to Cuba. Before I go into detail about my trip, I would like to briefly outline the process of entering Cuba from the United States. We frequently become confused about the process for traveling to Cuba from the United States because of the relationship between two countries. To begin with, traveling to Cuba from the United States is not permitted. This is clearly stated on the airline's website. When traveling to Cuba via the United States, the following 12 categories of reasons for travel are required. So tourism from the United States to Cuba is technically not permitted. But if you choose category of support for the Cuban people, you can actually travel even though technically you're not allowed. The idea is that foreigners who visit Cuba for tourism will engage in consumption activities in Cuba, which will indirectly lead to support for the Cuban people. I actually confirmed with airline staff in advance by phone, and I was told that foreigners can enter Cuba by selecting the support for Cuban people option. Traveling for tourism is however officially prohibited and done so at the individual's own risk. In fact, when I booked my ticket on United Airlines, I was asked to select a category and I selected support for Cuban people, and the ticket itself was issued. Next, I would like to explain the documents required for travel to Cuba. In addition to a passport with a remaining period of at least 6 months, travel insurance is required for travel to Cuba. Note that insurance issued in the United States is invalid, but most airlines include travel insurance in the ticket price. It is also necessary to obtain an entry permit to travel to Cuba, which is commonly known as tourist card. Tourist cards are available at Cuban embassies in various countries and at some airlines counters. United Airlines handles them in Houston and New York. The price depends on where you get it, but it costs $50 when you get it at the United check-in counter. It is important to note that once you travel to Cuba, you will no longer be eligible for visa waiver program, commonly known as ESTA. Therefore, a valid visa is required for travel or through the United States after traveling to Cuba. In addition, travelers are required to fill out a travel form called Viajero, which is 48 hours of entering Cuba. The form can be filled out online. Once completed, a PDF file will be sent to your registered address, which you will present at immigration. Checking for Cuba cannot be done at regular counters and is restricted to one isolated counter.
You live in Japan? Send your receipt. It's a copy and paste of your passport, okay?
Alright.
For your date of birth, day, month, year, passport number is right here. Country citizenship, you're gonna put Japan, okay?
Alright.
If you make a mistake, don't scratch it off. It's right next to it. You can do this on the airplane. You don't have to do this right now. Alright. That's mine.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That's
sorry.
you. Thank you.
Successfully purchased tourist card and completed check-in.
Los grupos son invitados por la zona marcada con el color verde.
1, 2 y 3. Puede llevar big flight. We used to have a 737.
Cuba, local time 2:06 p.m. We wish you a blessing stay here wherever your travels may take you. Cuba. Bye guys.
Thank you.
Bye. You take care of yourself. Bye.
Cinco gracias.
I made it to Havana successfully, however, I'm not sure whether I can go through immigration.
Hola. Ya, quiero obtener tarjetas.
You have to connect with my data because there's no Wi-Fi and you have to pay with your credit card.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Sí.
This is my telephone and this is my password.
How's the internet here? It's very bad.
Now it is working better.
Oh, okay. It's been getting better than past.
It's not as fast as in your country.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Everything
That's
is
right.
like that.
Uh-huh.
Like in your country. Okay.
Hola, buenas tardes. Welcome you guys in Cuba. I've just arrived in Havana, the capital city of Cuba, after 2 hours flight from Houston, United States. I had heard that entering Cuba from United States was difficult because of the relationship of two countries. So I was very anxious, but it went much smoother than expected. Although I was once asked the airport staff that what's your purpose of visiting Cuba. So right now I'm catching the local bus to get to the city center. It's a bit far from the airport.
$100, 20,000 pesos.
Sí, sí, sí.
Yo te doy 20,000, tú me das 100. Podemos cambiar. Ahí en el aeropuerto te lo pagan a 120. 120. Yo te pago 200. Por uno. Por cada uno 200. 100, 20,000.
Entiendo.
Ya. Aquí la gente lo paga a 180. Yo lo estoy pagando porque quiero viajar. Para viajar,
Sí,
para comprar algunas cosas.
Sí, sí.
Si quieres vender, yo te compro.
A 30 minutes bus ride brought me to the Bazar district on the west side of Havana. By the way, what type of Cuban currency is there right now? There is now one unified currency in Cuba, the Cuban peso. The government has set the foreign currency exchange rate at 120 Cuban pesos equals to $1. By the way, like I was offered on the bus, black market for foreign currency is now well established in Cuba, leading to an official exchange rate for Cuban pesos that is much higher than the official exchange rate. Nowadays, US dollars and euros are also widely accepted. They are very popular in Cuba and can be used for many small purchases and tipping. Until 1st January 2021, Cuba had spent nearly 20 years living and working with two currencies, the Cuban pesos and the Cuban convertible peso. But convertible peso has been discontinued and has not been accepted anymore. I arrived at accommodation. Here I would like to explain about accommodation in Cuba. When you stay in Cuba, you will stay either in a hotel or in a private accommodation called Casa Particular. So this time I will stay at Casa Particular. Casa Particular is a government-approved lodging facilities that doubles as an ordinary home, and it is a very popular means of lodging in Cuba. Casa Particulars are characterized by the blue anchor symbol at the entrance. Also, foreigners must be registered at the place where they are staying, and it is important to note that staying at non-government approved accommodation will cause problems. In case you're wondering, hotels are operated by the Cuban government, and United States residents are restricted from staying in some hotels.
Hola, buenos días, good morning guys, welcome you guys in La Habana. Right now I'm walking around the district called Bazar, which is a new city in La Habana. La Habana is divided by two cities. Bazar, which is a new city where I'm walking around, and the other Habana Viejo, which is old city where there's so many tourist places. So basically, Bazar, where I'm walking now, is not known for tourists. I couldn't see any tourists around here. I just came here, Melekong, which is a beautiful seaside road. Just a short distance from my accommodations I'm staying. Right now, I'm going to one of the popular cafe where I can taste traditional Cuban breakfast. Wrong.
Cuba is facing serious shortages of goods and funds due to the breakdown of diplomatic relations with the United States in the 1950s and the ongoing United States economic blockade of the country. As you all know, many of the classic cars driving around Cuba are American cars made in the 1950s. Since the breakdown of diplomatic relations with the United States, no new American cars have been imported into Cuba. This has caused many Cuban citizens to continue to use American-made cars imported before the diplomatic relations were severed. That's all for today's video. I would like to introduce what it's like to travel in Cuba based on my travel experience in the next and subsequent videos.